Good evening, everybody. Wednesday night, the 1st of November. Welcome to November. It comes around pretty quick. Not long till Christmas now, they say. We got through Halloween, the madness of Halloween last night, the 31st, with Justine McAllister talking art and large scale canvases and murals, which was a pretty awesome chat to Justine. So a little bit of future interviews coming up, just to give you an insight. Next Tuesday, Jamie Hutchings is going to join us. Then Wednesday, Mark Sinton is going to join us. And Thursday night, Al Carr. So that'll make up the next few episodes. And just before we have a chat to our special guest for tonight, is Zoë Fox. Look forward to a couple of gigs that are coming up this week. Last week, we interviewed Jessica Lux. She's got a gig tomorrow night at the Merry Creek Tavern. Make sure you get down to that one. 3rd of November, off to Archie's Creek. This is a great show that's been put together by some fantastic artists. Rebecca Barnard, Charles Jenkins, Nick Barker, and Rob Craw, which is a Tom Petty tribute. There's 3 gigs for that: Archie's Creek, Theatre Royale in Castlemaine, and Frankston Arts Centre. So make sure you check that one out. Coming up in a month's time, we're going to have a chat to Jenny Don't and the Spurs, who's just done a big tour here. A couple of last minute announced gigs, the 3rd and 4th of November. So make sure you check those out at the Old Bar. And also, if that's not for you, then Thursday, Mick Daly's Corporate Raiders and Penny I can go down at George Lane. And 4th of November, you'll have Jessica Lux at George Lane again. So get down there, a couple of big nights at George Lane. We're going to hit the road this weekend for the 4th on Saturday night. And check out Sweet Talk, possibly one of the hottest bands out there right now. So make sure you check them out. And UMI, this will be a great gig up at Archie's Creek. And then you've got a couple more coming up here with the Retreat Hotel. They're doing a 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th. Next week, there's a whole list of artists there, so you must want to make sure you check that out at the Retreat. And then Cold Irons Bound, which is Sunday the 5th, and there's a couple more here which we must touch on. There's a new one just announced, which Jenny Don't and the Spurs, who were huge at out on the weekend. They're doing a special gig at Shock Kickers, which I guarantee will be pumping along. And then the last one for us is the 7-Ups, which are doing a album launch with a few other artists there, Brown Spirits and Cantrips, and good old DJ Chris Gill will be spinning some records, no doubt, from Northside Records at the Night Cat. So make sure you check that one out. So here we go. Tonight, look at the background, outer space. What a setup. This young lady I'd come across not long ago, Zoë Fox. What an incredible talent. This gig was we're just actually calling past on the way to another gig, actually, and saw this poster out the front, which was really cool. Immigrant Union, who are a super lineup, special guest, Zoë Fox. So you never know who you're going to come across and meet at these kind of special nights. And this is definitely a special one that's etched into my memory now when I first came across this young lady. And I'm going to play a little clip, just a little sneaky clip of what I saw at the Gasso and what kind of easily, so quickly gripped me and a few other people.
They'll be sure to let you know where they want you to go before.
I got to play any more of that because that's a special treat coming up for Zoë Fox in the future. So there you go, a little scoop for you. Incredible range, takes you on a journey. Talk about the perfect venue for Zoë, the gasometer that night, spinning classic mirror ball with the lights, transfix me or transform me to another place for half an hour or so while we got to hear Zoë play. So, all right, this is what kind of set it up for me. Zoe's got a really exciting time ahead of her. Had an album launch not long ago. Big things are on the way for Zoë. So let's bring her up, Miss Zoë Fox. welcome to episode of 114 of So What's Been Happening, Zoe.
Wow, 114. Incredible. Thanks, Aaron. It's nice to be on here.
Yeah, nice to see you on a Wednesday night at the start of a new month.
Absolutely.
You mentioned you just sneaking home from work, late, long day, one of those classic ones. Hopefully you can kind of relax a little bit for half an hour and indulge us with a little bit about Zoë Fox. And obviously a lot of people wouldn't know who you are, but you're not a newcomer by any means to the scene of music. You just had a little lull period there and a rest. So, but you're back with a vengeance.
Back. Watch out, I'm back.
And it's a bit of a mouthful title of your band, Zoë Fox and the Rocket Clocks. It's a mouth tongue twister. You got to be careful saying it.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about the Rocket Clocks and how this name came about. First of all.
Well, I was playing solo actually, just as Zoë Fox under my own name for a few years, and I ended up, I think, probably 10 years ago, I was doing a solo tour and playing some folk shows around France. And afterwards, it was like, after I'd play, I'd kind of go into my dressing room, and I felt quite not lonely necessarily, but I really wanted to share the experience with other people. So I vowed that when I got back to Australia, I would make a band so that I could share the experience of being on stage, because I used to get quite nervous playing shows, and now I've got a band and it's so much fun, and I just think it was the best decision I ever made. And the Rocket Clocks as a name, I've always been fascinated with time and space, which I feel like the name is kind of accompanies both of those things. And also I've got a real spot for children's TV shows, and the Rocket Clock is from the Australian children's show Play School. And I like that kind of nursery rhymey element, and I love rhymes and wordplay, so I thought, of course I'll make my band name rhyme, and that's how I made Zoë Fox and the Rocket Clocks.
There you go. It's not always get to hear where the names came from. So it's great to see. It's a long one to write. It's a long one to put out on a chalkboard out the front of a venue, but you can't miss it. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's a tongue twister.
Yeah. I want to go back to just a couple of years ago, which I see you were part of the Isolade little trip or tour. It was a crazy time, really. And that's all right. I've got a sneaking suspicion. I watched one of your little sneaking 15-minute sets. I think they kind of were around then. It was a really cool time. I've got this little poster or setup. It was a promo. Well, obviously, it was a crazy time for so many people. But this is the reason this podcast originally started, was exactly this: what time in space, what happened when everything got shut down. Music was obviously on its knees. Venues. And we kind of got to connect with people. We literally had a chat to a few mates, and we wondered what our muso friends were doing. We got one on. That was episode 1. Here we are at episode 114, still talking about music, arts, and sports. So it's a great time. So what came out of a bad time actually came out some pretty good elements in amongst that. Isolate was definitely one of those. How was that little Isolate experience for you?
Oh, it was the strangest experience. It was probably the weirdest live performance I've ever done in my life. And I've done some weird performances, and it was just unreal. It actually was my album launch, my debut album, Clockwerks, which I've got here. It was due to come out the day of lockdown. And it was kind of like, we were riding the maybe, is it going to get cancelled? Is a show still running? Is there a pandemic? And just as we got the news that it was like, stay inside, everybody. We had to cancel the actual live show, which was supposed to be at the Northcote Social Club, my first ever album launch. And yeah, I had the opportunity to launch it on Isolate. So I thought, okay, here we go. I'm gonna do my album. I'm gonna perform my album with none of my band members because it's illegal to see them. I don't live with them. So I did it online on Instagram, and I used lots of filters where throughout my performance I changed my face into, I think I was like a sim at one point, pretending to wee my pants in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And
I do remember it now for sure.
My head was a cassette tape. I think I was that underwater baby from the Nirvana thing, and I just was whatever. Yeah, I had my housemates kind of dressing up in our spacesuits behind me. I was actually living with Didiri and Rowena Wise at the time, so I think Didiri was filming, or Ro was filming, and the other one was like flicking the lights on and off really fast to make it turn our lounge room into a concert. We had a smoke machine, and it just went off. It was actually, I think there was like nearly like 700 people watching or something in the head count, and it was probably the biggest show that we'd done at that time. And yeah, the next morning there was an article in the Sydney Morning Herald saying, you know, like the world's first online music festival or whatever it was, and all of a sudden Zoë Fox was a pickle because one of the Instagram filters I used turned me into a pickle with just like an eye would move, and yeah, all of a sudden people were saying pickle Zoë for president. No.
What have I done?
I was like, what's going on? There's a pandemic, and like all of a sudden I'm being known as Pickle Girl for this month. Because I'm like I'm a singing pickle on the internet.
It's so cool that what came out, so, as I said before, such a tough period. You probably, you know, kind of reinvigorated or relaunched yourself without even really trying. And then obviously it all happened and took off from there. But what a weird experience. I mean, have an album ready to go, launch booked.
Yeah.
I mean, such a bummer. When did the final launch? Did you ever get to the point where you had the final launch after lockdown and all those phases?
Yeah, we did a 1-year anniversary party launch a year later. In between the lockdowns, I think it was, we did 2 back-to-back shows at the Northcote Social Club, like 2 in one night, and we sort of made that the launch, I guess.
Sure.
But already, you know, it was kind of feeling like it was old news, but I thought, I haven't actually had a chance to play this with my band yet. Like, this is the first time we're actually even playing the record. And it's already been out for like over a year. And I'd been, you know, sitting among like huge stacks of cardboard mailers to, you know, send them all out to people who had bought them on Bandcamp, and doing my one daily out the post office, carrying a stack of records and hand drawing aliens on all of them. You
mentioned your love for that sort of space, rockets, time, and transport and travel. Was that always you as a little kid? Did that kind of always fascinate you right from the old play school days?
It started actually when I got a telescope for Christmas one year, and my family and I would go and look at the craters on the moon out in the backyard, and I always was fascinated in like with space, more so planets actually, rather than like I'm not really into like I like rockets, but I'm not a transport person necessarily. Just sort of the sense of wonder that comes with like stargazing and you know, pondering all of the endless possibilities that come with, you know, the infinite space that we find ourselves in, the cosmic dance.
Absolutely. you definitely take people to another place when you perform. That's for sure. Both obviously singly through your lyrics and just the way you put yourself out there. But one thing on stage, it's a whole nother story, right? That's crazy. That's crazy times for everyone. And it's the I call it the burger with the lot for you. There's you can't sit still. You just have to keep, and you're just intrigued right down to your last album launch that you've just done. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, but including everything in that launch. I didn't make it there sadly, but I heard some great things, saw some great vision. You must be super proud of having that launch for sure. But what we're going to touch on first is we're going to flash back a little bit just to a little snippet of Dancer Girl, one of your previous tracks.
Yeah.
And we can see some of the stuff that you put together as far as being able to put some great clips together. So we'll talk about that in a second. What a track. It's cool. It's so cool. It's so well put together. I feel like I'm watching flashbacks of Rage on TV. It's so fitting. Tell me a little bit about putting that clip together first. How much fun it is to put a clip like that together.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. That one, yeah, that was the first single I ever released and the first music video I ever made. And I kind of was, I didn't know how to do it really. I didn't have a budget like some artists, have a label funding their videos for thousands. I just was like, okay, like called upon my friends, who wants to help me out, and everything in that video was made from like reused things that already existed and rubbish and kind of upcycled trash. I was collecting different weird bits of rubbish for like weeks in the lead up to it, and I had this one beach ball. I remember sitting out the front of my house on the front porch, just blowing up this beach ball and turning it into a paper mache eyeball helmet for the monster, the trash monster that appears later in that video clip, and then waiting for it to set and like re-blowing it up again, and getting the old newspapers from like my dad's shop at the time, just using so much stuff. And I just wanted to dance with my friends, and that's what I did.
And still doing right to now. What are these kind of obviously not your first memories of dancing and having fun and the arts and craft and all sorts of things that become Miss Zoë Fox. What's your kind of first memory around music in the house, maybe? What kind of was it for you?
Like growing up around music?
As a really young kid, what's your kind of first memory of what was on the radio, what albums were being played? What was it for you?
Well, I've got this like a clear time where music really sunk in for me was when I was, I think, like 6 or 7 years old. Obviously I was around music before then. Like my mum was kind of in bands and stuff. So I was around a lot of choirs and stuff. But in particular, I was driving around Australia with my family and kind of, in this old 1970s Toyota Land Cruiser with a caravan on the back. And we had just a box of Beatles tapes. We had some Cat Stevens in there, and the children's entertainer Franciscus Henry. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's an Australian guy. He's actually like one of my favorite artists today still. Like
Wow.
he was super influential. And then Kylie Minogue, obviously. She was the popular thing that was kind of on the radio at the time. And so I was getting like Beatles, Kylie, and like kids music. And I feel like that just was this big bang of its own in my head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
with some Cat Stevens lyrics kind of whirled in amongst it. It's kind of really cool. Yeah.
Well, like my mum would give my sister and I little tasks to do in the back seat because we had so much driving time doing the Australia drive. And one day it was, you know, I think she'd said to write a song, or my big sister was doing it and I wanted to do it as well. And I wrote a song about like going to space. The first song I ever wrote was about like going to play on the Milky Way. And it was like saying, I look up high, I see a star. I wonder if we could travel that far. That was the first lyric on it.
Yeah.
But I accidentally ripped off Kylie Minogue and put it to the tune of On a Night Like This.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, makes
so
sense.
instead of On a Night Like This, it got to the chorus and it was just like, on the Milky Way. And then I was like, hang on a minute. Not sure if that's actually as original as I intended.
No, never to leave the car, that song.
Yeah, that's where it started. And I'm still doing pop songs about space, so it obviously stuck.
Sure did. And stay true to that too, because it's a great little pocket you're in. I think is something different for sure. It's what people, you know, it makes you different. It makes your gig unique, and I think that's a beautiful thing in today's music for sure. All right, we're going to move on to another clip from yours called Fists. Tell me a little bit about what year are we talking?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay. I'll tell you roughly. It was.
Yeah, what are we talking? 2018, 19?
October 17. Roughly was Bandcamp. So there you go. That's when it went on Bandcamp, but when you released it, it was around then. So there you go.
Yeah.
Let's flash back a little bit in time.
I've been thinking maybe we should settle this with this. I've been thinking maybe we should settle this with cups and fists, 'cause I'm over this. There's a part of me that gets inside and stays. You can see that deeply, killing me and thrilling me. Oh, now it's not where we want to I've been thinking maybe we should settle this with fists.
Yeah, I love it. It's so catchy. So catchy, that little hook chorus. Well done. It goes so quick. 6 years ago.
Yeah, it actually, has gone so quick. Unreal.
And so
It's
super
old.
relevant
Yeah.
today. Although we don't want to settle things with fists these days, do we?
Nah.
It's amazing
That's
what you
why
do as a kid.
But yeah, that's why I just wrote a song about it instead. Channeled
Absolutely.
my anger into art, which
Sure
is a
did.
safe outlet. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the story and the songwriting process for you now. How do you go about your songwriting? You mentioned that you love your lyrics, and all about rhymes and things like that as well. Does that still form a lot of your process for you? How do you go about it?
Honestly, like a lot of the songs on my last record, Clockwerks, and with this, they kind of just, I don't know, they kind of poured out of me in a weird way. It's like I kind of get possessed or something. And I never sit down and go, oh, okay, like I'm going to try and write a song. Okay, what's it going to be about? You know, I sort of start with the music and then just sort of like open this channel to my subconscious, and whatever's going on deep within me at the time just pours out in this way. And often I'll hit record on my phone before I've even got an idea for a song, and I'll just play a song, try and play a song and see what comes out. And then from there I can kind of keep playing it and like a sculptor kind of cut away the bits that aren't the song until I'm left with what the song wants to be.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Is it lyrics normally for you? What kind of comes first on some of your songs? Is it lyrics or into the, you know, the music component of it first?
Pretty much the music always.
Yep.
Oh, not yeah. At least the melody. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And then the lyrics just form.
Yeah. And instruments for you? What's your, obviously you've got a couple of go-tos. But you know, what did you first, what got you first as a kid growing up? When did the instruments kind of kick in for you? Other than obviously you did plenty of singing in the back of the car, but what happened first?
Yeah. Actually, singing was last.
Yeah, right.
I was kind of told that I was a crap singer for a lot of my life, so but I just liked doing it, so I kept doing it.
Yeah.
But I started with violin, which I cannot play it at all. Couldn't play a violin to save my life. And then quit violin and kind of got piano lessons for a bit, and then sort of reached a point with the piano teacher where I was just playing by ear and wasn't reading the music, and like kind of playing around with what I thought sounded good rather than actually following by the book. And then, yeah, drums. I played heaps of drums as a kid and kind of just like learned rhythm. And I did a lot of like percussion at school, and that was sort of I feel like that was my first proper instrument, was like percussion. And picked up a guitar and kind of ended up sort of teaching myself a lot of guitar, and that was what I first started writing on, I think, from memory. Just a couple of chords, you know, someone taught me 2 chords, and then I went, great, how many songs can I write with these 2 chords? And then I'd learn another one. And now it's just guitar and piano.
Which is plenty
chords and guitars around me.
I was going to say there's plenty of trouble to get into those 2 instruments, that's for sure. And just tell us a little bit about the rest of the band. How did kind of you guys get together? You know, was it well, you tell us, what was the story? How did the Rocket Clocks come to exist?
Well, the band is actually ever changing. It's been it's completely different now to when it first began. All of the members have changed multiple times. The Rocket Clocks is just sort of the name that I give my live band. But a lot of people think that we kind of operate as a band, and they're like, who writes the lyrics? Who writes the songs? And it's kind of like, it's sort of my project, my solo project, where I write everything and then I just get whoever I want to play it at the concert.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Thanks.
We'll talk about it a bit.
Back to a 4-piece. We were growing a bit too big for what I could handle. We were 7, I think, last year. Yeah, or earlier this year. Yeah.
7's really cool, but it's hard to get gigs, hard to make a buck, hard to get everyone together, hard to all agree on a big road trip. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's
but
good
it's
now
cool.
that
Yeah, nice
feels
tight
better.
little 4-piece. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bet you have some fun there. So let's talk about the latest single just released in the last couple of weeks. You did a album launch October 20 from memory at Howler.
Mhm. Yeah, had the
What a great,
yeah.
awesome promo you did for it too, I might add.
Oh,
This is
thanks.
really cool. It's a cool shot. It's well done. There was little animations and things that went with it along the way as you
Yeah.
kind of released it. And what an
Hey,
experience.
yeah. I made that, and it was the first time I've ever made a poster. So yeah, thanks for
There you
giving it
go.
the took me
You're gonna have
ages
to
to do
not.
that.
You're gonna have to not outsource anything anymore because you're doing a killer job by yourself. So
Oh,
it's
it's a
having
lot.
enough
It's
time. That's the key.
doing it all myself, and it's wild.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, we're going to play a little bit of Flirting with Aliens, and then we're going to talk about kind of how it came together for you, and maybe a little sneaky behind the scenes clip that I found. So we're going to play a little bit of Flirting with Aliens first.
Everybody's in a mood, and I don't know what to do. And I'm trying to reach you. You're gone, gone. Put forth consideration. This results in irritation. Lose our appetite for conversation. It's gone, gone. Am I getting through? Or am I flirting with aliens? Am I getting through to you? Or am I flirting with aliens? When you're up in the clouds, feels like no one is around. Bring your vessel to the ground. Can you hear me? I attempt communication. Do you receive it at your station? Translate scrambled information. It's long, long. Am I getting through? Or am I flirting with aliens? Am I getting through to you? Or am I flirting with aliens? It's a very special night when the stars align. I say, take me. A very special night when the planets align. I'll make you mine.
Alrighty, I'm going to leave it there. That is great clip. So well done again. That mustn't have been easy to edit. That's for sure. It was so well put together. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, RC Stills actually edited that one. It was the first time I outsourced someone for help, and it paid off because he is incredible. Yeah, he did such a good job of filming that and cutting it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started having these visions of Flashdance at the start, thinking about
Good.
that as a
That's what
movie.
I'm going for.
Yeah,
Nailed
well, you
it.
nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Because I showed a couple other
Yeah.
people and they all said, "What's the deal with the Flashdance thing?" So it was really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I was trying
and
to
then
copy it.
yeah, you did, and you did it beautifully, much better, in fact. But yeah, what a great song. I really like it, and I think it's got a just a great feel about the whole song. So, talk to us about why aliens and why these lyrics for you. Tell me a little bit about how this song came about.
So it was kind of like near the end of the lockdowns, and we were having a picnic in the garden with some of my housemates' friends at the time that I didn't know, and I kind of just got talking to someone at the picnic about the sky and space, and how I think some days you want aliens to come and take you. Or like looking up and you're like, okay, tonight's the night. Like, I reckon there's gonna be a UFO, and I'm ready to be beamed up. And yeah, he said, "Oh my God, can you please write a song called Flirting with Aliens?" Because we were talking about flirting with aliens, and I just really got inspired to write to a brief. And so the next time I saw that person, I said, "Oh, I wrote that song that you told me to write." He just gave me the title, but yeah, it was about wanting to connect, and I think a lot of what was going on for me at the time kind of came out in the lyrics. Yeah, kind of everyone being in a bit of a mood and not knowing what to do and trying to reach someone who feels really far away. And kind of trying everything, which I think also comes through in the video a little bit of like trying to get through to the judges and you're not sure if they're into it or not.
Yeah.
And
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to show a couple of seconds of a little cheeky behind the scenes, because a lot of people don't get to see this kind of how the things come together and the cinematography kind of component of it. So let's just play a little touch of this.
By Zoë Fox in the Clockwerks. Single out next Friday. Concert tickets on sale now. Here's a sneak.
So it's kind of a beautiful little hall, and it's so well shot and well put together. So yeah, congratulations to everyone involved in this, and definitely big things on the up for you, Miss Zoë Fox, for sure.
Strange things, probably.
That's all right. Strange is good. Strange is standing out, absolutely. And just a couple
Thanks.
of little clips from you on stage over time. There's some such great shots. I hope you don't mind that I've interrogated your Instagram.
Yeah, fine, go for it.
Yeah, but there's some great shots in amongst all this, some publicity, current shots as well. This one really reminded me of Play School. So you kind of you haven't moved far out of your artistic nature for sure. You've got a lot more to offer than just music, I'm sure. So congratulations on everything you're doing, Zoë. It's great to have you out in the community, back up, firing again, playing what you love and doing what you love. So what else can people expect from Zoë Fox in the next kind of 12 months? Is there anything you can give us a little sneak preview on, but don't have to tell us too much, just kind of maybe something you're working on?
Oh, it's hard not to overshare when I'm asked, but something I'm working on is a bit more of a stripped back kind of nursery rhymey album, probably more in that kind of psychedelic folk kind of scene where there's lots of songs still about the sun and the moon, but more kind of set on the experience of Earth, I would say. different kind of sound to the old stuff, that's for sure. But it's written by me all the same, and it's what I like doing. So I'm going to just keep doing it. Make whatever I feel like making.
Absolutely, and that's the great part about music and art is you get to combine all those talents you've got, and talented people around you. Can you give me one artist that you've kind of know or who's out there that we kind of should be looking out for out on the scene at the moment that they're kind of really kind of gelling with or resonating with?
Leah Senior, definitely Leah Senior. Yeah. Everything that Leah does, you should get around it because she's incredible.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if it wasn't music for you, where did you think you were going to head as a youngster growing up? What was kind of your direction before music kind of gripped you?
I wanted, I still kind of want to, but probably writing children's books or being an astronaut.
Yeah. Or both.
Yeah,
it's really cool. That's really cool for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. I look forward to catching up with you again, Zoe, in the future, talking about new releases, new music. Thanks for sharing some time with us. It's always good on a Wednesday night just to put a little chat together and put it in the vault and see who kind of picks it up and has a chat and listens to and gets something out of it. So Zoe, thanks for joining us on episode 114 of So What's Been Happening. And we look forward to seeing you at a show very soon. Please feel free to shoot us some details anytime you've got a gig coming up, and we'll try and do our little bit to put it out there in the world as well.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Awesome.
No problem. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Zoe.
Bye.
How cool to have Zoë Fox join us. So keep in mind, you're looking out for Zoë Fox and the Rocket Clocks. What I want you to do is jump on Instagram, probably is the easiest way, Zoë Fox Music, or just Google Zoë Fox Music and you'll find her Bandcamp and a few other features. Make sure you jump on YouTube, though, and I'm going to post the videos below in the comments on YouTube, and you can check out some other stuff from Zoe. And make sure you do me a favor and make sure you watch the rest of these clips because they're awesome and they deserve to be watched by millions of people. So make sure you do. Most importantly, this weekend, get out and see a band and support local music. There's some great people doing great things out there, and more people need to see our talent that we've got here for sure. So just coming up again on Tuesday the 7th, we've got Jamie Hutchings. Mark Sinton is coming up on Wednesday the 8th of November, and then Thursday the 9th, we've got Al Carr joining us. And most of those guys are all going to be playing some tunes live with us as well. So that'll be really good to have a chat to. And then there's plenty of shows coming up for the latter half of November. So look forward to seeing you out there soon. Have a good week. Catch you soon.